Hey guys, it's Gaia, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. So I asked you guys on Instagram to send me in any questions you have about university in general, and boy did you guys send me a variety of topics, so thank you so much. If you're not following my Instagram, my handle is @GaiaCorleyX. Go follow me, it's a great way to ask me questions directly, plus I'm always uploading updates about my YouTube videos which you don't want to miss. Also, some of you guys sent in questions like specifically about Nottingham Trent University, and this video is more of like a general university video, but don't worry, I'm going to save those questions and answer them in my next video, which will be the ultimate guide to Nottingham Trent University, so look out for that. Just wanted to make that clear in case you guys worry that I didn't answer your questions. If you do find this video helpful, please give it a massive thumbs up, and if you want more university advice and to join this cute YouTube family we've got going on, which by the way we're calling Gaia's Roses, so if you want to be one of my roses, feel free to click that subscribe button, I'd be more than happy to have you. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into this university Q&A. So my first question is how to deal with homesickness at uni. So my first bit of advice is to make sure that you bring home to your parents or to family friends as much as possible. FaceTime them, text them, call them, whatever. I recommend FaceTiming though, just so you get to see their face and also you can show them sort of what you're doing and how you are. I found FaceTiming my mom when I was at uni really helpful. Like, I'm not even a homesick person, but I literally text my mom like every day just to tell her like how I'm doing. You don't have to call them every day, but just call them like regularly, just so you still have that contact from home. The next piece of advice I want to give you guys about homesickness is to spend a lot of time with your uni friends and plan like cute days out and like meetups, because if you're like distracted by like having fun and like socializing with new people, chances are you won't feel the urge to go home as much, or you won't miss home because you're like constantly doing fun activities. If you're new to my channel, I went through a lot of bad stuff last year and I just really wanted to go home and just drop out of uni. I found by like immersing myself in like activities and nights out and just like meeting up with friends for like a coffee would just take my mind off things. Also, one of the most important pieces of advice I want to give you guys if you are struggling with homesickness is to not go home. Like, if you think you're going to be one of those people that will be homesick when you come to university, I advise like making sure you don't go home for at least the first month, just so you like get used to the idea that you are in a new city with new people. Because if you run back home like instantly within like the first week or so because you're not yet like settled at uni, you will find it's much harder to go back to uni because you were literally running back to your safe space, you're running back to your comfort zone. So in some respects you kind of need to force yourself out of there by like staying at uni, stick at it for a month, and then I advise then going home. Next question is, would you advise doing a placement? I am not currently doing a placement, I am doing the normal 3-year course. However, when it comes to a placement or like a sandwich course, I think it depends on what you're looking for. When it comes to placement, there are like pros and cons. Obviously the pros are the fact that like you get a year out in the industry and you get a lot more practical experience that you probably would not get at university. So I recommend placements for those reasons. However, I know a lot of people don't choose placements because the thing with placements is that because you're taking a year out, you aren't gonna graduate with your friends. You're gonna like come back to university and like kind of finish your final year sort of alone, or like you'll end up having to like befriend other people that are doing the placement year. So if you really care about graduating with your friends, then I probably would advise against doing the placement. Also, because of the whole world situation at the moment, I don't even know whether they are doing placement schemes at the moment because of like travel bans, and because I know some companies aren't really hiring people. So if you're currently applying to university and you're deciding whether you want to do a placement, I advise choosing the normal 3-year course just for the moment and then see whether you can then swap to the sandwich course in like a year or two's time. Next question is what to do if I don't like my flatmates. So that's a very good question. Again, because we're in a global situation where we can't like easily socialize as much as we used to, like chances are the only people you're really going to be seeing apart from maybe your course mates are your flatmates. If you do move in and you find that you just don't really click straight off the bat and they aren't really your people, I advise just stick at it, because who knows, maybe these people might end up actually being like your best friends. So I advise if you do struggle to click with your flatmates at the start of when you first move into uni, just stick at it. I advise also spending a lot of time in like the communal areas like the kitchen, just so you guys get used to each other a lot more. Like looking back, I kind of wish I'd done that a lot more, because in first year I didn't really like my flatmates. They weren't really my kind of people, so it just made me like hide out in my room, and I literally did that for the rest of the year. But at the end of the day, I advise just remaining civil and friendly and just being yourselves. Next question is, what's the difference between a lecture and a seminar? So that's a good question, because surprisingly a lot of people don't actually like know the differences, or they kind of get them mixed up. So first off, you have a lecture, which it's like one of those things that you see in the movies where like hundreds of students are sat together in like a tightly crammed lecture hall, and you have like a professor or a lecturer just talking at you, and you don't really have a chance to like ask them questions and stuff, and you just spend the hour quickly like writing notes. You'll find at university most of your contact hours will be lectures. Seminars are slightly different to lectures because they're basically like where you sit in much smaller classes, like between say like 10 and 60 people, and you discuss what was taught in the lectures. It's also a really good chance to ask your lecturers who are taking the seminar questions about the content you were taught in the lecture. Not only do you have lectures and seminars, you also have this thing called a workshop, which you'll have more of them if you do more of a like practical course. Even if you do like a theoretical course like psychology, like my course, I still have workshops because there are times where like I need to practice setting up a study and like working with my lab group. So workshops are basically where you can like practice your like skills and also ask the lecturer questions. Next question is, what's the workload like in first year? I actually find the workload in first year to actually be like less than say the workload that you find in like sixth form if you're doing like A-levels. I feel like for A-levels you're doing like a lot more kind of modules, even though first year does still matter because you need to get into second year, and you may still actually need to get certain grades to get into second year, such as like a pass in every module. First year still doesn't like count really, so you can party a lot more in first year, but like bottom line is the workload in first year is definitely manageable. Next question is, there is a massive hookup culture at university. Yes and no. I've sort of like answered this before in like one of my other videos when it was specifically kind of talking about Nottingham Trent University, but like in general, yeah, you do have obviously a lot of people sleeping around in first year. You do get that a lot more in first year than you do say in like second or third year, but like I wouldn't say it's like sex crazy at university. It's not like if you walk outside your like house you're gonna see a bunch of people going at it in the bushes. Well, I mean, I hope not. At the same time, you obviously will still get people sleeping around with each other. When you come to university, everyone feels like there's gonna be this pressure that you have to sleep around, you have to do drugs, you have to drink. I can promise you now there isn't, and like if anyone ever does try to pressure you into doing that kind of stuff, then just tell them to like politely like off. I started university with a boyfriend, and even after I broke up with him, I didn't feel like there was like a pressure to sleep around. I didn't feel like as soon as I became single that I had to have like a bunch of one night stands, you know, or that people would see me as less if I didn't. You will find people are obviously going to sleep around a lot more in freshers and like first year, but you won't find at university it's like this massive orgy. Next question is, do you have to drink during freshers week? No you don't. I was actually surprised when I came to university of the amount of people that come to university that don't actually drink or do drugs. I guess the same thing as you guys. I expected when I came to university that like everyone would be drinking and doing drugs and sleeping around, and like I would sort of have to do the same. Your university will have designed like an entire freshers program dedicated to not only alcoholic events but also non-alcoholic events, and it's not weird if you choose not to drink. So for the next question, I've had a lot of people like asking the same sort of thing, and it basically like revolves around kind of the topic of like, I'm quite introverted, so will it be difficult to make friends? And the answer is no, it won't. If you are shy and you don't really know like what to say or like what to do to kind of like approach people and say hi, I advise just simply starting off with a smile. Just showing people that you are like approachable and friendly like makes so much of a difference. You know, that is really the icebreaker. Also, if you're making friends with people for the first time in person, I suggest eye contact is like a really big thing. Just like ask the person about themselves, like ask them their name, ask what they're studying, and then tell them about yourself. But yeah, those are basically the kind of bottom line things that I suggest to do if you're meeting someone in person. If you're meeting someone for the first time like in a group chat or over text, I suggest just simply mentioning your name and what you study. So for me that would be typing in a group chat, "Hi, I'm Gaia and I study psychology and criminology. I can't wait to meet you guys." Something like that, like a really nice kind of cheery, nice message for people to reply back to, and that's all it is. If you would like more advice advice on how to make friends easily at university, I recently uploaded a whole video on how to do that with some of my best advice and tips that I've learned along the way while being at university for the past 2 years. If you'd like to see that video, I'll link it above, so check that out. I also suggest making friends not only on your course and with your flatmates, but with other people on like societies, other people in your accommodation block, or just like other random people on nights out that you bump into. Obviously, if they are a randomer though, you've got to make sure they're safe, okay? You don't want to be friends with like any random person you meet on the street.
I'm in danger!
You gotta make sure they're not dodgy. Next question is, are you excited for third year? Yes, I am. Like I've said in other recent videos, I'm so happy to be back in Nottingham and to start my final year. It honestly feels like yesterday was first year and then I just blinked and here I am in third year. It's exciting but also quite scary at the same time. I'm also really excited about all the YouTube content that's going to be coming out over the next few weeks and months. Like, I have so much university related stuff lined up for you guys and I can't wait to share it with you. But yeah, like overall, like even though I am sort of nervous about some parts of third year, I am mostly excited to be back. Next question is, how are you finding your new house? My flatmate sent in that question, which is well cute, and to answer that, I am literally so happy to be in this house. Like, not only is it like such a nice house like itself, it's also with some like really nice people, and if you guys have been on this journey for a while, you know that I didn't really get on with my flatmates in first year, and then that ended up kind of being the case in second year, which I think was more of a shame because like I was nothing but civil to those girls, and to then be treated like crap wasn't really the nicest. So it's really nice now to be in a house where like I'm not going to be worried that my food's going to be stolen, I'm not worried about my things being broken, I'm not worried about my window being egged in the middle of the night, like, and I know that if I ever do have a problem, like I can go downstairs to my flatmates and like ask them anything. Also, all my flatmates are on my course this year, so it's actually going to be quite cute, like all of us sat together in the living room like watching lectures and stuff and crying over our dissertations, but I don't want to think about that right now. But yeah, bottom line is I'm just like really excited for this new house. Next question is, how would you recommend drying clothes that can't be tumble dried in accommodation? I recommend investing in one of those like maidens or like dryers, whatever you call them. I'll stick a photo of what one looks like on the screen. You probably have them at home, and like I really do recommend like investing in one because most university accommodations don't offer them. You can get some really good ones on like Amazon or like Argos. I think I got mine from Argos like 2 years ago. I think it was like £10 or something. It helps you dry your clothes like really fast and naturally without them like staying damp and potentially going moldy. If you do need something being like dry for like an event or for something where you need to go out and have like certain clothes, I recommend just being organised and making sure your clothes are like on that maiden a few hours prior, just so by the time you need to get ready your clothes are dry. And the last question I'm going to answer today is how to find a part-time job during a pandemic. First off, you can find a job. It is easier than you think. Companies are constantly hiring students. They're always offering part-time jobs. I recommend looking into jobs in like retail or hospitality. You can get like flexible hours. You know, you can make sure your hours work around your like course. When it comes to finding a job easily, there are two options. You can obviously either apply online or you can apply in person. If you apply online, I suggest places like Indeed, CV Library, Reed. There's like loads of them, so just Google like job sites and you'll be able to find vacancies in your local area. It's really easy, you just upload your CV and you might have to answer a few extra questions and like put in your details, but apart from that you can just send them off really quickly and then you'll probably get a reply in like a week or so. If you'd like a faster way of applying for a job, I suggest just printing your CV out and walking into any shop or store that like you are interested in and just handing them your CV and asking if there's any vacancies. This can be more of like a faster and efficient way because you are getting almost more of like a final decision because you are handing it like straight to the manager, and obviously you can find out there on the day whether they want you or not. However, I know some people don't really like handing their CVs out in person because it can be quite daunting, like walking up to the shop or restaurant or wherever you want to apply for and just like handing someone a CV and having the guts to like ask if they are hiring anyone. Like, I know personally that is like the worst nightmare for me. I'd rather just like apply online and just hear quietly through an email. I have a lot more questions, but I think I'm going to leave it there so this video doesn't get too long. So yeah, that wraps up my university Q&A for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful. Hopefully if you had any questions about university, this video has now answered them. If it did, please give this video a massive thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It honestly means the world to know that like my advice is helping you guys. Like I say it every video, and I really do mean it. It really does make me smile when I get like such lovely feedback from you guys saying that like my content helps. So if it does, please let me know. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you on Tuesday for another video. Bye!